And we're back again, not my ideal setup, so apologies for the sound of clicks and whatnot. But what can we do? Let's play some closed. Can't go worse than the open went. Um, we got max of 3 level 3s, no 7/6s, no 6/6/3/2s, or 6/6/3/3s. This is the hand that I ended up with. You might ask, what's that 5/3/2/5 doing? I don't know, kind of thought it might stick it in 5. Does it do much there? Not sure. Felt like 2754 could have play off it. Other things could maybe have a little play. I don't know. Wanted something I could throw out as my starter. 2365 is tremendously powerful for level 2. I expect him to use it as well. It's max 3 level 3s. My middle cards are the level 3s. No 7/6s, no 6/6/3/2s, or 6/6/3/3s, no rares or semis. 2365 is not a rare or semi. 6253 is the only other card of that type, and it is. So let's run it. And hopefully we get first turn. But I have done reasonably well against Delial on second turn and closed of recent. So we can hope that we can handle either turn order. Deli is definitely a better closed player than me. There's not really any point in arguing this, given that we have so much data of him playing closed in GBs. And we have a decent chunk of data of me playing closed in GBs, and that was when I was playing more closed as well. So was in better form, and he certainly had the better score there. And by, like, a significant amount. Right? I was one of the highest scoring players, and he was clearly far and away the highest scoring player. And my numbers are both our numbers are a bit inflated from doing well in open, but my numbers more so. We definitely know against the field and on a variety of rule sets, Deli is the better closed player. So where can we find our advantages? Well, one, we could get lucky, we could get first turn, we could have it all work out. That would be great. 2, hand building. I kind of suspect we all end up in the same place here. 7/5/4s seem pretty good. I'm not sure there's much edge to be had. 3, feel for SPC, playing without plus wall. Now, my experience, Deli adapts somewhat better to weird rule sets than I do. Specifically, we've actually played a bunch of games on an open set of SPC low level, and after a handful of ties, not quite a handful, after a few fingers worth of ties, he beat me there, and I was under pressure most of the games. So I think fundamentally this set should favor him, but also it is closed and I am quite good. So I think it favors in the sense of, 55/45 or 60/40, not like 80/20. And so we have a decent shot to grab a win here. So hopefully we get there, and hopefully, I really hope he makes a predictable hand. Now, the one thing is there aren't that many kind of opposites to run with. Like in some sets, like for instance, when we played in Backhander, the first game he used 2 level 9 opposites and 2 level 5 opposites. And so I ended up making a read at the end of the game that he could plus wall one of my remaining cards and not the other, played the other, and I was correct. I made the right read, and it was because he had a predictable hand. So this is something we're really going to be trying to pay attention to, is I think making reads based on his hand is a relevant skill versus this specific opponent. There are some players where it will not be, or making a read will. I mean, there are certain players who are very likely to pair cards. If I make it to the next round and I'm playing Piggy Man, hopefully this video hasn't gone up by then, I do suspect he will pick hands with a bunch of paired cards. And that will be something where maybe I have a chance to fight for some kind of advantage. Because if his cards are predictable, then I can work around them and play it more like I would an open game. And that, obviously should favor if one person is playing semi-open and the other's playing closed. The kind of thing of if like it's level 10 and you see Galoof, they also have X-Depth. So you want to play stuff that is not going to play nicely for X-Depth. They play Galoof in 5, X-Death circles it. Or Silver Dragon and Harloot, another classic combo. One of them lands in 5, you should expect the other one, and you should start putting things in places where those cards have difficulty playing against them. Because usually those hands are set up to make the pair pay off really well. So I do think that is one relevant closed skill. Right, we've been asked, does Crescent have the longest gap between icons? He earned an icon in Triad Wars 3, which is around 2005, and SE Nephilim, which is 2014. Now, Triad Wars 14 is not up yet, so who are the icons? Aesla did not earn one so early, was up in Akiyama, no. Piggyman and DJ, no. Midas and Tezuka. Tezuka was maybe barely around when Crescent got his first icon. Midas was around, but Midas earned an icon since. Delial, no. Nemesis Divina, no. CK. I don't think CK had an icon. I think this was CK's first icon. Seto obviously earned icons later. And so unless someone in Triad Wars 14, let's see if I can find the spreadsheet. All right, we have our game. Second turn. Boo. 3 second turns in a row. Man, some people have been saying that taking games, we're getting a lot more second turns these days. I think that's almost certainly not true, but 3 in a row here. But I put up the first 2 games and got second turn, so this is not evidence for that. All right. Anyway, that's a bummer. What was I looking for? Icons in the last tournament. Finals, semis, quarters. Okay. It was up in Tezuka, no. Piggyman and Turrets, no. DJ Akiyama, no. Sir Smoke Seto, no. Yeah, I think he's right. Alright, Deli's gonna take his time, as he always does. Slash says whoever uses Behemoth deserves to win. Now, we both used Behemoth in the open, but Deli did use it twice, and I only used it once. But I used the FF9 one, which is prettier. Alright, so my general thesis of closed, maximize synergy first turn. So that's what we're going to do. On second turn, I like having a low number on lots of cards. It makes it easier to slide. We do not have to use our 5-3-2-5. We'll see if it comes up. I don't mind using a higher level here. The difference in power levels is not enormous, and I'm going to get to hold on to a card at the end anyway. If I had first turn, I would certainly be starting with one of the level 2s. We have tied both of the open games coming into this, but both of them were presses for him. I tend to think of open tournament play as who can get the most presses. Most people do not survive more than being pressed twice. A press meaning the opponent has significant pressure around the move turn 3 to 5 range, and you have to be quite precise to hold the tie. I think Deli pressed me twice, and I had 2 dangerous spots. And most people don't survive 3 presses. That's pretty rare occurrence. And you might think, well, any great player should be able to, hold 3 ties. It should take more than that. But if they did, then there would be a lot more long matches than happen. So it's clearly just It's very difficult to hold defenses. Alright. 1722. Interesting. That might suggest he's using higher raw power than I was expecting. Now, I can't play off the 1 going up. I can play off the 2 going down. I may play 5147 in 9. It is a real bummer that I don't have combo play in 6 there, though. I can play off the 7 going right. Though not in a way that really inspires me. I want to be inspired. Can't play off that 1. I have trouble playing off that 2. I really want synergies. I really want synergies. And I do not see a way to get 2 at once here. I don't think there is a way to get 2 at once. There's 2, 7, 5, 4, and 3. 2, 7, 5, 4 in 3. It's the maximum synergy play. It's the maximum synergy play. I think I'm going to go for it. I think I want to just have as much combo potential as I can. I think that's how I want to face Delial. Would like to hold on to that, though. That's my other idea. 5147 in 9. Nah, I don't love that either. Alright, max energy. We're doing it. Remember, there's no plus wall. Hard to take stuff. This does tell him I'm probably on 754s, but I'm probably on 754s anyway. Oh, there's a really good chance he has 5147, isn't there? That's the thing about hand games that I sometimes get wrong, is there's a much better chance that they're on the same cards I am. There's a very decent chance 5147 is in his hand. I really should have thought about that. Setting up the same card both ways has very different risks if it's a card that I think is a standard card for him to be using here. Now, we're pretty sure he built his hand in card select. That may have made him less likely to use cards like this, but if we start seeing 754s emerge, then I need to block up 2 and 6, which is not the dream. It's kind of hard for him to play 7, though. Like, I can play, like, 7, 5, 5, 1 in 4, or, you know, some move of that type with a 7 out. Maybe that's a reason to hold on to 7s, because 7s out can just be safe, right? And so, yeah. Everything's so scary and closed. Like, open, I'm not saying I wasn't freaked out throughout the open games, but closed games, you just have no idea where you stand. And it's tough. But actually, Slash says 1722 is such a random card. But actually, no, it makes some sense because without plus wall, sevens are much more valuable than they normally are. And me using general power like 2365, which notably also is a plus and two. I have a backup way to plus and two. That's nice. But using an extra 7 actually makes a bunch of sense. Again, Deli has a really good feel for alternative rule sets and what might work there. And I tend to need to like move cards around a bit or like look at how hands match up and start thinking about replies to notice things. Well, I think Deli can intuit it better. Which is not to say he doesn't put in the work, but I mean, he plays a lot more actively than I do. But like, yeah, it's tricky. Maybe I can play 2, 3, 6, 5, and 9 at some point. No, I can't. I don't have a plus and 8. What am I talking about? Oh dear. Well, good thing no one heard me say that. But sometimes these SPC sets are really bad for first turn. Actually, I should probably be glad I got second turn. Because the 7s facing out can just be impossible to take. And so you can land in these really uncomfortable positions. Note, if I land 7, 5, 5, 1, and 4, and 5, 1, 4, 7, and 2, sometimes that just wins the game. It doesn't if he has gone 6, 6, 2, 2, but it does if he has gone 7, 5, 4, 1. Don't know what to think here. And he's going to figure out some clever ideas, but we will get to ignore them because we don't know his hand. Closed is an interesting game because obviously moves in closed are made that would lose in open, of course, but are very good in closed because in closed you're playing against the range of what they can do rather than a specific move. And even if you knew they would go in a specific square because you don't know what they can do in that square necessarily, you're still playing against a range. And so it's a playing of the odds, but you're understanding which squares are dangerous and what you need to set up for. What's like the more dangerous things they can do are the things you should be more prepared for. And second of all, you're making adjustments based on the opponent. And my experience playing Deli in closed is I've been able to slide next to cards in 5 and set up combos at the end that secured me ties. Now here, this is going to be a difficult card to slide next to. This not only does this card have a 7, which makes sense given its SPC, but Deli may be adjusting to what I've been doing. I have played a few games where I've slid next to his card, therefore, he is now playing cards that are very hard to slide next to, right? With low numbers facing out everywhere. Cards where my normal style of play will not be as effective. It is possible. I don't know. I don't know how much adjustment he makes. One thing interesting to me about the GB records when Dalamar shows the specific player records, it does go 7s. Well, I don't have a 7 in a useful direction here, which is a problem. I also think it's worrisome that if he has 5, 1, 4, 7 for 2, I don't have something to do about it. Right? I don't have a double capture there. It would have been nice if he had set me up with a double capture. I also don't know what his level 3s look like. And I cannot slide in 2. If I slide in 6, it's dangerous. It's really dangerous. I've used so much of my right power. I've used so much of my right power. he's used a 7 both left and right. What are the odds he has another 7 to the left? Somewhat low? I'm wondering if I can play 7, 1, 5, 5, and 9. Seems quite risky. But everything seems risky. My default move here is something like 2, 3, 6, 5, and 6. 2, 3, 6, 5, and 6. I'm sure he has a 7 up, so we can capture it. But I slid. I have the threat in 2. My worry is he goes in 2, and I know going in 2 is in his range. And the thing is, I can take exactly a 6 left, but I cannot take a 7, and I cannot take a 5. And those are both really plausible numbers. Really plausible numbers. So maybe I should do something more like 5-3-2-5 there. Something that is easier for me to recapture from 9. I don't love my recaptures there, though. Could just go 7. I don't even know what I'd put in 7. I think I'm going to slide in 6. I think I'm going to slide in 6. Let's do it. Now, what I don't like about this type of position is, like, say he has 7-5-5-1, right? And he plays that in 9. And I take my combo in 2, and he just has a combo back in 8. Like, I've given up so much right power. It's just really tough if he goes there. And if he goes in like 7 and I start in 9 and he goes 1 and he has combos, then I'm in a guessing game that's pretty uncomfortable. Maybe not the worst thing. There can be tricks there. I don't know. It's hard to have combos. But I do wish that had a 7 down, right? I think. I think going for these kind of general power cards, he does take it and he does have a 5 facing out. Well, that is the worst thing we can see. That is absolutely terrible. I think I have to go 9. I think I have to go 9. And then hope 5, 1, 4, 7, and 8 holds. If he goes 8, he has to be afraid of being comboed. Now, it turns out I can only hit a 3 and a 5, and those are pretty unlikely to be had, but I have nothing else to try. If I go 1, he just goes 9. And I'm dead. Or if he goes 7, I'm still dead. Like, I can take it and I have a 1 facing out. Big whoop. So I'm going to go 9. This has gone very poorly. And also now he probably just knows I don't have 1. Real shame I didn't have another high number going right. But maybe he'll feel the need to block 1 here. He doesn't have something great in 8. And if he has like 2, 3, 6, 5, okay, he does block 1. And now we have the 7, and we have to hope. Is there a card with 7, 1? He's already played 7, 1, 4, 5. So this is probably a tie at this point. Can't say I feel good about it. I think he was right to use all the 7s, though. I think he did a better hand again. Congrats to him. Five, 3, 4, 6, 2, 9, 8, 7. And I've typed in tie in the hopes that it is a tie. But I have no idea if it is. And I don't know who first turn favors, which is probably, or I don't know who wants first turn, which is probably a good sign for a balance thing. All right, he's saying 1 number I can't take. Should have gone for it, though, I think. All right, so we did survive. Again, we'll continue. We'll continue at a later date. This exhausting match. Good games to Deli. I think he's playing really well, and I think he is showing a better feel for the rule sets than I am. He is on 7/5/4s. Can we do anything about that? Probably not, but we should keep in mind that once he's on his level 3s, he does not have double numbers, most likely. So hopefully we can play against that. Cheers.